in our presentation, introduction, development, and conclusion. Now let's move to the first part, introduction. First of all is rationale. Environmental is still related text contain linguistic, communicative, and grammatic features. In specific, expository text focus on clear information, while argumentative text aims to persuade readers. Different text types require suitable translation strategies and methods. This study compared to environmental text, oil spill research efforts, and ensuring environmental sustainability. The purpose is to examine how text type influence translation process, and the next part is objective research objective. This study analyzed types and translation process. It also compares similarities and differences in translation strategies and methods. In addition, it examines how communicative purpose affect translation, and it also identifies suitable translation strategies and methods which have achieved accurate and effective translation. Now let's move to the next part, development. Theoretical framework. First of all, translation definition. Translation is a process of transferring a text from source language into target language while preserving meaning, value, and author indication. According to Alcott, translation as a form of linguistic mediation in which the content of a foreign language is transferred into another language by creating in this language an information and communicating equivalent text. Now let's move to the text types. The first text type is expository text. It provides clear and objective information. It's found in articles, textbook, or reports. It focuses on facts, logical organization, and explanation. It aims to inform and improve reader understanding. Translation of this text type requires accuracy, clarity, and logical structures. Now let's move to the next text type is argumentative. It's aimed to convey, influence, and improve readers and motivate readers. It's found in political speeches, opinion articles, and advertisements. It uses logical reasoning, evidence, and emotional appeals. Translation in this text type requires preserving meaning and persuasive effect. And let's move to translation methods. There are a lot of theories of translation methods. However, this study focuses only on interlinear theory. We use three main translation methods. The first is literal translation. It translates grammatical structures and words closely to the target language. It focuses on direct equivalent and often ignoring context. And the second is faithful translation. It conveys original meaning accurately. opinions and tries to persuade readers to protect the environment. The target readers are general readers, students, and people concerned about environmental problems. And the communicative purpose is to encourage readers to take responsibility for protecting the environment and support sustainable development. The next one will be written about. So today I would like to talk about translation methods and strategies. Intake or spiritual effort. The first is translation methods. So the first method is effective translation. It's dominant methods. These methods have keep the original word and structures as close as possible. The example on the slide to follow keep the original sentence closely when the sounding clear Vietnamese. And the second is the methods in communicative translation. The translation use sound natural and suitable Vietnamese reader. And the example on the slide so that translator use easier and natural Vietnamese expression instead of translating word by word. And the next is translation strategies. The first is literal translation. This means translation sentence directly when the grammar of both languages is similar. For example, on the slide to keep the original word as structure so it's easy to understand. And another strategy is modulation. The translator change the ways an idea is expression to sound more natural in Vietnamese. For example, draw visual wave translated by hiện tại biến mất instead of regarding to focus on the results. And the text also use transposition. The translator change grammar structure and a part of speech but keep the same meaning. So, for example, could be to blame, changing into noun phrase nguyên nhân to make the sentence smoother in Vietnamese. And finally, borrowing is also used. Translator keep the original foreign words such as Amazon, cucumber, and quarters to keep unchanged sound